Welcome to Something to Talk About from the Bainbridge Island Senior Community Center. Today we're going to travel, uh, well, I don't know exactly where. We're going to find out where to enjoy the Aurora Borealis. So it's somewhere in the northern hemisphere with the Rosenblats. We'll do that in just a minute. But first, I would like to acknowledge that Something to Talk About is sponsored by Fieldstone Communities of Bainbridge Island. We appreciate Fieldstone as a sponsor of this program. They offer independent living, assisted living, and memory care. You can check them out on their beautiful Rolling Bay campus. They'd love to give you a tour. Call Randy O'Neill or Sierra Wood. I'll give you the phone number in a minute. Ask about day stay and respite care programs. And also, they'd be happy to treat you to lunch or dinner, depending on when you come by to take a visit. The phone number is 206-594-1010. It's fieldstonecommunities.com. Also, as we join today to look at some beautiful pictures, we'd like to acknowledge that this beautiful land is the ancestral homeland of the Suquamish, the people of the clear salt water who have lived here since time immemorial. We are honoring them and learning from them about how to be better stewards of these lands and waters. So thank you very much for joining us this month, and your pictures that are up in the lobby at the Senior and Community Center have been stopping people in their tracks since you put them up last week.
Well, good. We had an awful good time taking them.
Wonderful. Let's hear a little bit about that. I know, Bob, you were going to try to share your screen and we can look at the pictures. So while that magic is going on, there we go.
How's that?
That's lovely.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll tell about how we got interested in the Northern Lights, or at least, personally interested in them, was when we first saw them for the first time, was in the fall of 1980 on a hike in the North Cascades, over North Cascade Pass.
Cascade Pass.
Yeah, Cascade Pass. And it was a lovely day and a wonderful hike. But I was 3 or 4 months pregnant with our firstborn. And so when we got up to the top where we were going to camp, I was having trouble breathing for a while. And it just seemed everything was sort of smushed up, and I was just having trouble breathing. So I felt a lot better sitting up. So it was a beautiful night out, so we didn't pitch a tent. What we did is we just sat up all night, so I could happily breathe. And because of that, we were under the open skies, and so the Northern Lights made their visit, and it was wondrous. And that's how we got started on our quest for looking for the Aurora.
And just a little background, if people don't know, the sun has an 11-year cycle. Well, 22. We're actually doing it every 22, but it's basically an 11-year cycle where every 11 years there's more sunspots. And right now we're near the peak of that solar activity cycle. So this is prime time for Aurora, because the sunspots sometimes will send out a thing called a CME, or coronal mass ejection. It's a plasma, basically, electrons, protons, and stuff. And it usually takes about 2 to 3 days for those CMEs to get from the sun to the Earth. So oftentimes you have some good heads up that there's an Aurora on the way. And right now is the next, probably year is still really prime viewing. And also auroras are more common near the spring and fall equinoxes. So this is really a good time to keep an eye out open for them. So anyway.
And that was the time of year that you were
yes.
that you were waiting for a baby and finding a new avocation or something.
Yes, it was the fall, definitely.
It was in the fall.
Yeah.
It was September or October.
Yeah. This first picture was taken up at Point No Point, and this is from May of 2024, a year ago, May. And this just had to be like a once in a lifetime kind of thing, because I mean, literally, this is not taken in the Arctic. This is taken at the Point No Point Lighthouse, and it was just awe-inspiring.
This is a cell phone, a picture. It's
Yeah.
not even a super duper camera picture. But it turned out nice and we really liked it, so that's why it's in this show.
Yeah. And while this display was going on, you could see the colors. Cameras are more sensitive than our eyes to it, but you could see the colors with your naked eye. And it was and they change. They're not static at all. They change all the time. And it was almost like watching a fireworks display, because there were people all down the beach and you could hear people going, ooh, and it was just kind of hilarious. It was like you were watching a fireworks display, because the people were just kind of all going ooh and ah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Could you see the magenta? You said you could see it, but not
Yeah.
like
Yes.
the camera can capture it.
Yes.
How
you can-
bright were the magentas and the fluorescent greens? And
Yes, that on this occasion, you could really see the colors. You know, you can always in post-processing make them spiffier, but we really, this is not highly exaggerated at all.
Yeah.
It was very unusual because it was just like, bam, right there.
Yeah. So,
And we had a good time with these because our daughter and her husband came across the ferry from Edmonds and joined us out there on the beach. So we had a little group.
and in the Pacific Northwest, one of the things that was really a treat was there was a spectacular display, and it wasn't cloudy. So, anyway.
We were out there for hours and
Yeah,
hours.
yeah. So anyway, it's again the Point No Point Lighthouse.
That's our daughter.
Yeah. It's just
See how the colors have changed. Now there was more purple in this one, and the curtains had moved. You know, so it was constantly changing.
yeah, and you can see those curtains and the spires and stuff. You can see those easily with your naked eye in a display this strong.
It was a very unusual display.
So, and I guess it just
Go ahead.
okay. This is just looking again off towards Whidbey Island and Everett from Point No Point, and it just you could see it literally was filling the whole sky and overhead too. It was just
Yes,
amazing.
you could just look up at the sky and it was just filled with color.
So what time of night is this?
We were up there
Rough.
probably we were there at sunset, and we probably stayed till 1 or 2 in the morning. So this was probably, around midnight or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the displays started by 9 or 10 o'clock, whenever it really got dark enough to have dark sky.
and you can see the stars through it too. This is spectacular.
Yeah.
It looks like you could see a lot of stars.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
It was glorious.
The auroras, like I say, what they're caused by is that plasma. So it's mostly electrons and protons hitting various molecules. Most of the time, the green color comes from hitting oxygen, and that's at like an altitude of 60 to 100 miles up. And then the different colors come from hitting different molecules at different altitudes and stuff. But yeah, so these are, like I say, these are, in the order of, more than 60 miles above us in the sky. So, but anyway, just another one of the, I don't know how to get rid of that little bar on the bottom.
Does it show on? Yeah, I guess it does.
I don't think
Wow, that's cool. I mean, again, those stars, and you get this, I mean, just this wonderful sweep I see what you call a curtain there at the bottom, sort of.
okay, I can't get that bar. Well, I'll just live with it up there, I guess. Anyway,
Did
but
you
yeah,
say something about your settings that you used? Did you use a tripod? What did you use?
yes,
Oh.
definitely a tripod, Jane. Unless actually some of the times they had a little tripod for cell phones, but
Or a
it
cell
definitely,
phone.
yeah, but definitely a tripod. It depends on how bright the aurora are, but you don't want to use too long of exposures because they do move, like Dorothy said. And so probably most of these, and this was really a bright one, so I would say most of these are something in the order of 3 to 6 second exposures, because you don't want to go too long because it just smears it all out.
Yeah, you want to get the definition.
The definition, yeah.
So.
And,
But it varied a lot, though. Our ISO would vary
yeah,
from Oh, I don't know.
Well, it's so bright.
It
Sometimes
was
you're
like
down to
just a
like,
thousand.
yeah, or 600. I had some at 600,
Yeah,
and sometimes you
probably.
go up to 3200 ISO, depending on how bright they are, Jane. You probably want to use as wide angle a lens as you can just to kind of bring in the sky. But I really liked this picture with the lighthouse, and I don't know, just kind of unique in my mind. So,
Beautiful.
okay. Oops, now what's happening here? Uh-oh, I lost control. Oh, wait, let's try that. No? Okay, now I've lost control of the screen. Okay, let's see. Hang on a second here, read what's going on here. Go to the next one. Okay. This was actually taken in Fairbanks. In 2023, we were going to go on a workshop up to Yellowknife with our daughter and her husband, and Rod Barbie, who the member of the photo clubs know. And that was the year Yellowknife had fires literally at the edge of town, and so the town was shut down. They evacuated the territorial capital
Yeah, that's what.
in Yellowknife. So the workshop, of course, got canceled. So we had, our son and daughter had taken time off from work. So we said, well, where can we go on short notice? And we said, well, let's go to Fairbanks. So this is up at Fairbanks in September of 2023. And we all got COVID on the trip, but other than that, we had a great time.
Well, we would take turns literally crawling out of the car and looking at the sky. And then when we saw something, okay, everybody get out. And then we'd take our photos, and then we'd crawl back in.
Yeah. So anyway, but I like the bright spot. I kind of like this one because it kind of looks like, in my mind, it looks like a salmon, but that's Jupiter, the bright thing that's the eye of the salmon there.
Can I ask another question? I'm asking a lot of questions.
Please.
There's no magenta in this one,
No,
and that's just
that's just how it was presenting. Yeah. This was, we were just up there, Jane, and in Fairbanks and Yellowknife, a lot of times you'll have Aurora almost every night, even when it's not a storm. You know, the ones we had at Point No Point were clearly a auroral storm. This is just a regular night, so you just have basically just the plain oxygen green and stuff. And this is much more common. Had it been a storm, they would certainly have had colors. But I think this is just how it often is at night when you're up near the Arctic.
And from what you've learned, obviously it's a really big deal when those of us in the lower 48 get to see the Northern Lights. But as you said, it's very common. It must be that's an area that's exposed, or there's something about the situation relative to the sun, or what?
The plasma, when they come in from the sun, they interact with the Earth's magnetosphere, and the magnetic North Pole is up in northern Canada. It's not at the North Pole, it's south of that, but it's up near Hudson's Bay. And so those magnetic field lines are what determines where the aurora will be visible. And Fairbanks and Yellowknife are closer to the magnetic North Pole, so they get much more activity than we do down here. And like you say, the bigger storms are required to get them aurora further south. So yeah, this is a routine kind of event for that area. So.
But as you proved, worth the trip.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah. There was another storm in 2024. This was in October, and this is just taken from if you're familiar with Paulsbo, by the Oyster Park there, looking back towards the Paulsbo Yacht Club. And so this is just taken over basically downtown Paulsbo in another storm, not as intense as the one in May, but still a very, very, very good storm. And this is just, like I say, in Paulsbo.
Love the reflection also in both of those.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of the reflection is great.
This is the same night, earlier the same night in October. And this is up at Port Townsend at the marina up there. And we had great plans. We were going to we went to what is it?
Fort Worden.
Fort Worden. Always get the words mixed up on that. But anyway, we went to Fort Worden and down by the lighthouse, and we had our space all staked out, and we figured it wouldn't be a problem because, you know, we were in and ready to go and not bothering anybody. But the forest ranger did not see it that way, the park ranger. And he explained to us in no uncertain terms that we could not remain there right when things were starting. And so we said, okay, yes, sir. And so then we said, where are we going to go? Where are we going to go? So we ended up at the marina, and it turned out just fine because it was a completely different look, and it was fun, and it was inland a little bit, and so it wasn't as cold.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, this is
by the water, but
you
not.
did well to find this spot. This is an amazing shot. I love the reflections of the boat. I mean, it just adds so much.
Yes, and the lights from the boat and
Yeah.
the dock.
Really nice.
It turned out to be a really nice spot, but we just kind of lucked into it. This is also from Port Townsend, so yeah.
And you can
And-
see the
and-
variety of color
Yeah,
in this one too.
right. Yeah. In,
Yes.
in September of 2024, we did finally get back up to Yellowknife. This is basically taken from our hotel, or just in the essentially in the parking lot of the hotel we were staying at in Yellowknife. And so you don't have to go out too far out in the boonies when you're up there. You can see, and this
It's
again
all in the
wasn't a
boonies
storm.
anyway.
Well, that's true too. But yeah, but this is just kind of, these are just to kind of show that, you know, you can get displays. We could actually watch the aurora out of our hotel window. It was so bright.
This is from pretty much the same spot. Now, this photo has, I must say, I did process it a little bit more than some of the other ones because it was so pretty.
And
So
the yellow is kind of unusual.
yeah, and I wanted to bring that out. But I mean, you know, there's nothing really fake about it. I just kind of boosted it a little bit because I just thought it was pretty.
Yeah.
And that's over the city, and I just thought, cool.
It almost looks like the stars are in front of the aurora.
It's funny,
It
isn't
does,
it?
doesn't
Yeah.
it?
It's great effect.
You've got the
Did that on purpose,
yellow,
Jane.
you got the yellow building reflection really going more or less in the same direction as the
You're
one
right.
in the sky,
That's interesting, yeah.
and the green next to it. That's great.
Yeah. And this is one just,
It's just along the boardwalk. We were just walking along the boardwalk outside the hotel, and you can see it's in the city. And I turned around and I said, "Oh my, look at that!"
but the twists were so
Yeah.
unusual, but you can kind of picture the magnetic field lines just getting all around, tangled up, you know. But Yellowknife is really nice to go to, and again, because the auroras are especially active near the equinoxes, this was taken September of 2024. Yellowknife isn't that cold. It would get maybe down to freezing at night, but it's not like going to Norway where you had to be 20 below zero or something. I mean, you just really not uncomfortable at all, you know. But this is outside of Yellowknife, and one of the things about the territory up there, it's got bedrock essentially right at the surface. I don't know how all the trees grow, but it's like, you know, bedrock right at the surface, so there's lots and lots and lots of lakes. So it just gives you all this opportunity for foreground and reflections and stuff. It's a really cool area to go visit and stuff. So I just like the symmetry of this
Oh,
one.
yes, this is a very stunning image.
And I think the remainder of these are basically all from Yellowknife. This is our little group there. The guy with the tripod is Rod Barbie, who was leading the workshop, and I think Dorothy's is the one next to it. No, Dorothy's on the right, and I forgot who's in the middle. But anyway, but yeah, this is our group with, you know, up on a ridge, and I was down below. So,
And this is like just looking straight up. And I like to call this my angel in the sky because I always think it looks like it has angel wings. But that's just like a, ooh, look, and I just pointed the camera straight up, and that's what it looked like. But it was not you can't see anything, let's just point and see if there's anything there. This was like, oh, you could see it. And so, and there it was.
So I have a question. When you have the really brilliant colors with your naked eye, when you have your camera, does it bring it out more, or is there just kind of a maximum amount that, that
I
they
think the camera
Yeah.
emphasizes it and
always
brings it
gives
out
us
more.
brighter? Yeah.
And
Oh, wow,
you
this is nice.
process it to make it stronger.
Uh-huh. Sure.
But what was seeable was really, really seeable.
Yeah.
And I think this one just shows that even for us, this is it in Yellowknife, but even for us in the Northwest with the clouds and everything, sometimes you can look out and see them even through or around the clouds. So I thought that was,
Those are really cool. I mean, I love the clouds in that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and this wasn't, I mean, this was like just as at sunset.
Yes,
Each photo
this
yeah,
goes to Jane's view of like what's foreground and what's background. You've got a lot of different levels going on there.
Yeah.
really.
You wanted to add something, Jane?
Yeah, no, just every single image is so unique in terms of the color combination, the aurora formation, and then what you have included, like the clouds or the boats or it's really spectacular.
It gets addictive, Jane, because it does change. Every time it's different and it changes in 10 minutes it changes. So it gets addictive because it's kind of like, ooh, what's going to show up? What's going to pop out next?
Yeah, it's not all uniform. It's not homogenized.
Yeah. Yeah. This is actually a panorama. I think I took three or four shots to put this in. And this is the night we actually driving out here, we saw a wolf running down the side of the road. And this is the night we were looking out across this lake, and the wolves were howling on the opposite side of that lake. And it was just kind of sitting out there, at midnight on your little camp stool, clicking the shutter. It's just kind of just
Felt like
just
we were having
mind-boggling.
coffee with Jack London.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, and this is another one taken just at sunset. So I mean, the auroras are there, and they're there during the day, and we just can't see them because they're overwhelmed. But just kind of interesting to me how they show up, right? Even at sunset, they start showing up, and they just arc across the whole sky. This is actually a composite of two pictures. I wish I would have thought about doing this sooner. I took a longer exposure for the foreground and then a shorter exposure for the aurora. And I thought, ooh, and then combined them. And then late, I thought, well, hey, this is great. I'll try it again. And then the auroras faded for the night.
They were done.
They were done. Yeah. But it was just, anyway, so this one I purposely exposed to get the rocks and kind of show what the terrain up there is like.
And that's the thing about auroras, you can make a pretty well educated guess of when they're going to show up, but not entirely. You can't control them, and so when they're done and when they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
But there's the bedrock you were talking about.
Correct. Yeah. So this is just one of the thoughts that crossed my mind up in Yellowknife was thinking about the early settlers. What did they do for outhouses? Use a dynamite to put in your outhouse? I don't know what you do. I just don't know what they did. It's just kind of like amazing. And this is just another one out over that lake.
Mm-hmm. Just with curtains and color and good reflections.
Yeah.
And this just shows a whole nother color, not just the green and not, this has got the deep red. And it's hard to guess what you're going to see. But it's fun because sometimes it just looks like they're coming down to the landscape, and the lights themselves seem to be creating, art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another.
We would walk around to try to get different foregrounds and stuff like that. But again, you can see the curtains and the structure is just remarkable.
And they were really bright.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And they have different kinds of structures, and it kind of, even contained in the same moment. you know, you have it coming down, swooping down, and then you have the S curves, and it's very exciting.
Yeah.
You think, oh my goodness, we're going to be out until 2 or 3 in the morning, and then, you know, we're going to be tired, but you're not tired because it's mesmerizing.
And if you have two cameras, which I do it sometimes, they're great to take time lapses of, because then you can really see the motion going on, and the time lapses are very effective for this. And I think this is our last picture. This is yours.
Yes, that's mine. That's just looking up. Just keep looking up.
I think this is from the October.
Yes,
No, the May 2024.
that's from May, and it's from down at Suquamish, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think it's when we had moved on down to Suquamish.
Okay.
But anyway,
That's really nice. I like the abstract feature. You know, these look like ICM to me, you know, some of these, to get those kind of motion.
ICM, what's that?
Oh, intentional camera movement.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's moving, but what's moving is the Aurora.
Yeah.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah.
And you know, we like that we were able to see them from different locations, because then that gave a little more variety to the whole experience too.
Well, you so rarely see Aurora pictures with a foreground, and you guys were being real artists with the way you did that. That enhances it tremendously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
It's not like visiting outer space. It's something that's visiting us in our world. And I gotta say, that although I look forward to seeing your prints, this is an ideal show to see on a screen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good for screens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say if people are interested in following them, there's a website, spaceweather.com, that's very good. They give kind of predictions, and they give heads up when things are coming. There's another one that's the NOAA has a Space Weather Prediction Center, swpc.noaa.gov. And that's actually still going even with the government shutdown, because it's viewed as being essential. Just for the record, if you don't know, there was a thing in 1859, the famous Carrington event, which part of the childish part of me says, oh boy, let's have another one of those. But in a realistic sense, it would be catastrophic. In the Carrington event, it was so strong that telegraph operators were getting burned because it was sending so much current through the telegraph wires. And so they were having fires in the telegraph offices. If that happened again today with all of our satellites and GPS and satellite communications, it would literally be catastrophic. I think I heard a report that in the Carrington event, there were auroras. People saw them in the country of Colombia, you know, like right on the equator. So I mean, that could happen, and that could happen anytime. But and there's also a Facebook group called Aurora Borealis Washington, and there's a lot of chatter in there, so you can get a lot of ideas about where people are going and stuff like that. So if you're interested in following Aurora, there's a lot of resources out there online that are quite good, and it's kind of an interesting community. And then you can kind of ooh and ah and say, oh, look what they did. So anyway,
And it doesn't seem to matter, based on some of the photos you shared, the equipment. You can enjoy and get some great pictures with whatever you've got in your pocket, or something more rarefied.
absolutely, a lot of people are getting gorgeous pictures with their cell phones. You're absolutely right, Reed.
Yeah.
So when you
Most
just,
of these were taken with a real camera and a tripod, but you can definitely get cell phone pictures that are great.
so do you rely on those websites and when to go out, when's a good time, or do you?
We
I've
use
heard
them.
you say like, oh, it's going to be good tonight or something, and
You can sign up for text alerts and things too, but usually, I mean, I check those websites every day, kind of thing, just to get an idea. Yeah, but you go ahead.
Go ahead. I just wanted to say it's the NOAA one that has the BZ and the KP, the one that I look at. That's
Yeah,
the one. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Space Weather has them too. Yeah.
All right, so the one that I look at is the NOAA one, and two things that just beginners want to be able to see on that, because you're going to look and you're going to say, oh, okay, why do I care? Is up at the top of the page, there's this little panel, and it has things like a BT, and then it has BZ, and if the If the BZ is not a negative number, you go back to sleep. 'Cause
BZ is telling you the direction of the magnetic field and stuff.
it
Yeah.
won't be, don't worry.
When it's a BZ negative, it couples with the Earth's magnetic field better. So BZ negative is highly good. There's also another figure that they use in KP, and I don't know where the KP comes
That's
from.
where I was going next.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But that's okay.
Oh,
But
but
anyway, go
the
ahead.
KP is just basically the strength of the expected storm, and we've kind of found that a KP6 is probably okay
Might
down
be.
here. It's worth going out. KP7 is definitely worth going out here. The May 2024 storm was a KP9, which is as high as the scale goes. But if it's a KP7, roll out of bed, grab a cup of coffee, and grab your camera.
Go someplace dark.
Yeah.
Look north.
Yeah.
And if it's both, it has to be BZ negative, but if it's like BZ -5 and KP6 or KP7, you'll be all right tomorrow. You'll do whatever you have to do tomorrow, however you can. Just go do it. Go look.
Great.
Anyway, that's kind of our story, I guess.
And
How
think ahead
often-
about where you might
what's it-
go.
Question, how often does that happen in the port towns and, the area in which you live?
It
That
depends on
combination of the BZs and the KPs.
It depends on the sunspot cycle, Jane, and right now we're near the peak. So for the next year and a half, I would say it could happen, a few times a year where you get a KP7. The KP9, somebody joked online, I saw where somebody said, the storms in 2024 were once in a lifetime, except twice in 2024. So it's the KP9 is quite rare, but enough where you can get good Aurora pictures and stuff might happen. Over the next year, I would say it could probably happen a couple times, maybe.
Okay,
I'll bet you forward.
thanks.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
And it depends on how lucky you are also.
right.
Because sometimes, if it will go out here in the general vicinity and no, it's nothing. And then we'll see online, like on the Facebook group, and somebody was out on Ruby Beach and oh my God, and it just, it kind of depends on if you're in a spot where it showed up.
In March of 2023, we went to Othello for the Sandhill Crane Festival, and there was a really nice Aurora outbreak. And in Othello, of all places, it was cloudy and it was clear over here, and we missed it because we were in Eastern Washington. And so yeah, it's just the luck of the draw because clouds make a big difference, especially here, Jane.
Happened when we were in Prague too.
Yeah, that's true.
We didn't see anything.
This was great, just
Yes.
great.
Yeah,
And
thank
thank
you.
you for-
Those are really great.
Thank you for all the
Thank you.
resources.
Mhm.
I think that will be, I'm gonna put them in my browser.
Great.
It's fun just to look and say,
Yeah.
oh, look, somebody's
Right.
getting a show.
Exactly.
One more thing I should throw out.
Yes.
If people are interested, there's a website called Skunk Bay Weather, just literally skunkbayweather.com, I believe. It's up in Hansville. And the person that runs that has a webcam that runs time lapses all night. So a lot of times at night, if you're kind of wondering whether to go out, you can check Skunk Bay Weather and look at the night camera and see if there's anything showing up. So the Skunk Bay Weather is worth checking out too.
And in that case, sometimes if it's just a glimmer on that, it'll probably be better if you go out and look and set up your tripod and take some shots.
Dorothy
you
and Bob,
hear-
thank you very much. One last comment, I think maybe.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
hi, Mary.
Oh, okay. I've been trying to get in and many years ago in central Utah, I went out one evening and there hadn't been anything about Aurora before or after, but I looked up at the sky and it was all magenta, no variation, just magenta. And I thought, that's gotta be the Aurora.
Wow, I bet it
Yeah,
was.
it had to
I
be.
bet it was.
And
bet it was
I
a
didn't
good
hear
spirit.
from anybody anywhere that there had been Aurora. but I thought nothing would turn the sky that color
No, I'm sure that was, that's
except the
one.
aurora.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Have
that's
you
wonderful.
ever been to Iceland?
No.
Not
Well,
yet.
well, we changed planes there, but it was in June. So it
Yeah.
doesn't count.
Another good spot if you have the occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you, everyone. Bainbridge Island Photo Club. And next month, you're going to be here, Paul, I think. So see
Yeah,
you again
absolutely.
in a what?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, folks.